with Orlana, Dark and Dreary, your connection to events, topical interests, issues, and the movers and shakers in our world, and the opportunity to learn things that make you say, oh. Today, I'm excited to welcome Cherise Nance, a licensed clinical social worker, certified compassion fatigue specialist, and founder of the SWAG Awards. Since 2019, she has been honoring social workers for their overlooked heart work while promoting wellness and preventing burnout through her organization, Vitamin C Healing. With the fifth annual SWAG Awards approaching this March, we're going to dive into her inspiring journey and mission to uplift the social work profession. Cherise, welcome to the Ohh Show with Orlana.
Thank you, Orlana. I love that. Oh, my.
Thank you so much. So let's dive right in. What
Yeah.
inspired you to establish the SWAG Awards in 2019? And how was the event, or how has the event evolved over the past 5 years?
So these creations usually come from, I guess, I don't want to say being sick and tired of being sick and tired, but seeing a need. Seeing a need, and instead of complaining about it, what can I do to help solve the problem? So in my over 2 decades of working in this profession, I witnessed and experienced social workers being underpaid, unrecognized, overlooked, undervalued. And there's just been so many things I wanted to do to give back to the profession. Obviously, I want to advocate for higher wages, but I know that'll be a much bigger battle to fight. So I wanted to start with something on a smaller scale to gift my colleagues. What can I do to show that they are appreciated? And so we created the SWAG Awards. I was telling my husband, I want to do something for social workers. I rarely see them on these award ceremonies lists. How come we're not getting recognized? You know how we can go on about our rants. He's like, why don't you create it? I'm like, create an award ceremony? What? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, what do we call it? And he's like, created with the acronyms, and he's like, swag. I'm like, I love that. Social worker appreciation of greatness. And that's how it was born. It started before the pandemic. That's when the vision was created, where we just did something small. We started during Black History Month by recognizing all of the trailblazing Black social workers that have paved the way for us. And then at the end of Black History Month, I'm like, March is National Social Work Month. So what can we do? So we reached out to organizations and just asked them, is there a social worker on your staff that you would like to recognize? Organizations gave us names. So we just honor people online, and people loved it. They felt appreciated, and it just started to pick up this energy and this momentum. And then we, at the end of the month, in March of 2019, we had a small celebration at a Comfort Inn, and they're like, we want more. And then we're like, okay, maybe we can actually have this award ceremony. And then we started planning for the inaugural official ceremony in March of 2020. And because COVID hit, 2 weeks before the ceremony, everything got shut down. I'm like, oh no, this is a sold out event. All the vendors are ready to go. And people are asking me, what are we going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. It's my first time in a pandemic. Hopefully it's the last. So I'm experiencing this with you. Fortunately, everybody was so gracious. All of the sponsors, all of the vendors, the venue was awesome. And we were able to have it virtually. And it ran super smooth. And that was the inaugural. We honored 21 social workers. That was a lot of people to manage, but they were great. They were just excited and appreciative about being honored. Obviously, first year, you learn a lot of things between year 1 and year 5. So we had to condense that to between 7 and 9 social workers. So we're in year 5, and this is what I consider to be a milestone year. And we're right in that period of planning. We're just a little over 2 months away. The time goes so fast. Every time the new year comes, I'm like, wow, we're about to have our annual swag awards ceremony.
Exactly.
So here we are,
So
January 7th.
I mentioned in the intro, the SWAG Awards aim to honor the often unrecognized hard work of social workers. So, can you elaborate on what hard work means to you and why it's essential to acknowledge it?
Yes. When I think of hard work, anyone who gets in this profession is doing this work from a place of compassion, from a place of empathy, from a place of care and just a giving spirit. Oftentimes we're called empaths.
Mhm.
Um, and sometimes we do this work and we care so hard that we can become exhausted from it, burned out. That's where compassion fatigue comes from. You get exhausted from caring mindlessly. And so when I think about that hard work, I'm thinking about us doing this work from that place of caring and loving and giving and empathy. And you're doing the work that you are called to do. You're doing your purpose driven work. You are connected with your values, and your mission is to help people and to hopefully um, enhance their lives for the better.
So, can you walk us through the nomination and selection process for awardees? What qualities or achievements do you and your committee look for in potential honorees?
Good question. Well, first, let me say, yeah, I think it was important for us to have a nominations process just to keep the integrity of the awards ceremony. I think all social workers are great. To do this work, it takes a special type of patient and committed person to do this work. And when you are creating an event like this, like an awards ceremony, there has to be a process. There has to be, vetting. There has to be um, certain specific areas that you are looking for. So number one, they must be a a social worker by trade. And what we mean by that, they must have excuse me, getting over a cold. They must have a degree in social work, bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctorate, licensed social worker. But at the very minimum requirements are a bachelor's level social worker with at least 3 years of experience in the social work profession. And social work is so broad that can be anything, whether it's mental health, education, government, community organizing, but they must have a degree in social work. And we do that because this is about social workers and we want to protect the integrity and the title protection that comes along with our profession. Because a lot of people say that they're social workers and you might be doing social work, but you are not considered a social worker unless you get the actual degree and have the letters behind your name. And you must be someone who upholds the core values of social work. And those values include integrity, self determination. Um, I'm drawing blanks here. It's been a while since I've looked at that. Um, er, Advocacy, and just making sure that you are looking at the whole person, that you are advocating for social justice,
Mhm.
that you are just out here in your community doing the work.
Mhm.
And that can look like a lot of different things. We're needed in a lot of different spaces. Some people are on the front lines. Some people are best in leadership positions. Some people are best community organizing. Some people are best as mental health therapists, what have you. But the most important thing is we want to see that you are actually doing the work, and we want to see how your peers speak about you. And then another area that we're looking at is how you we want to hear about your story.
Mhm.
What attracted you to the profession and what drives you to continue to do this work. We Because with social work is such a heart-filled
Mhm.
profession. You're literally doing the hard work. It's a caring job. It's empathy. So we need to know about the person, not just the credentials and the letters and the education and the schooling and the achievements. We want to see that you are actually a person, and it's helpful when people are sharing specific stories of like how you have helped people get from point A to point B, how you are serving the community, kind of like show, don't tell. We get a lot of nominations, and it's hard because some of the people, we're in Pittsburgh, we know Pittsburgh is really small. And so people on a committee, because we have a committee that's part of it, I try to stay out of that, even though I do see the final selection and I have to approve it. But they use a point system. So when people are submitting nominations and they're not complete, they become disqualified. It's important that when we even have a section on our website, what makes a good nomination? And even when we're in our nomination period, we give an example of what makes a quality nomination because we want people to be clear on that. We want for everybody to have a chance. And I get it. You might want to surprise somebody and nominate them for a swag award, but if you don't know them and you don't have their story, you're actually doing them a disservice because I can't say, oh, well, I know this person, so we need to select this person. No, if they don't meet the criteria in our system, then they're not going to be qualified for it. And then we have two specialty awards. We have an Entrepreneur of the Year award and we have a Lifetime Achievement award. So we've added some criteria to the nominations process. We want to know if the social worker has any entrepreneurial aspirations or if they have an entrepreneurial spirit or do they have a business because for so long in a social work space in school, we've been encouraged to take the traditional route. Rarely is, you know, running a business or pursuing entrepreneurship. It just hasn't been talked about. It's starting to be talked about now. In fact, I think they have a social entrepreneurship class, but we want to highlight that because we have students that come to these events. So we want them to know, like, hey, this is an option too. You can think outside of the box and do this work. And then the Lifetime Achievement Award is someone who is a trailblazer in this profession and has been doing this work for at least 30, 35 years or more.
And you mentioned Pittsburgh, but does the SWAG Awards recognize social workers outside of the Pittsburgh area?
A good question. So right now we say Pittsburgh and surrounding areas. So
Okay.
we're saying it's a 20-mile radius. So like the surrounding counties, that's a goal. We want to go a little bit wider, but we wanted to start at home and build our base here.
Okay. And we have a few minutes left as we talked about the fifth annual SWAG Awards that were scheduled for March 22nd, correct?
Yes.
And then, so what can attendees expect at this milestone events? And
Mhm.
where can we buy tickets? Where is it held? What time is it? All those details.
All the exciting things. It's making me excited. So Saturday, March 22nd from 4 to 7:30 p.m. at the Sheridan Station Square in Pittsburgh. And what can you expect? So I've learned, I listen to your feedback. We give a survey after every event because we want to hear from you what you like, what you didn't like, what you want more of, what you want less of. And we like to mingle. We like our social hours. We like our happy hours. So from 4 to 5 is going to be an informal networking happy hour event for people to come and have a chance to talk with each other and network and do whatever it is that you need to do. We might have a surprise there, but that's what 4 to 5 o'clock p.m. will be. And then we want to give people a chance to transition. And then from 5:30 to 7:30 will be the actual awards ceremony where we'll have the mistress of ceremony, we'll have speakers, an opening remarks speaker, we'll have a keynote speaker, and then we will have the announcement of all of the awards, and then we'll go home.
All right. Well, I do want to say last year I was honored to be the host. And one thing that I did walk away from, I told my husband this after the event, and I said that this event, the energy, you felt so much love and support It was overwhelming. And I've been to a lot of events. But that event, you could feel the love and support that the social workers, even people who weren't in social work but may have known the people being honored,
Mhm.
so much love and support there. So if that's your kind of event, definitely you want to check out the Swag Awards. So again, it's Swag, SWAG, just how it sounds. And the website is the swagawards.org. You could do
Right.
/tickets so you can buy your tickets immediately. And the event is March 22nd. Don't wait to the 20th. Get your ticket.
No, they'll be sold
Uh,
out. They'll
yeah, I was gonna say your event does very well, and
Thank
it
you.
sells out quickly. But it is, in addition to it being loving and supportive, it is a lot of fun. As you mentioned, I'm not even surprised that your survey back said your attendees love mixing and mingling.
Yes. Oh my gosh. They're like, we didn't have enough time to mix and mingle. I'm like, wow, that was supposed to be like the negative feedback.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I want to add that it's the swagawards.com/tickets.
Oh,
That's a very common mistake. So
okay.
www.theswagawards.com/tickets, and we are at nearly 75% sold out. And we also do
Wow.
have room if someone wants to support and sponsor the Swag Awards event as well. But yeah, I'm excited and looking forward to honoring this class of Swag awardees.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the correction. The swagawards.com/tickets. Cherise Nance, founder of the Swag Awards. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and information about this year's milestone event.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And you're listening or watching the Oil Show with Orlana. Until next time, keep shining. Up next on the O Show with Orlana, tune in for my exclusive interview with Andrea Smith, live from the Consumer Electronics Show, where we're diving into the latest tech trends. Plus, get ready to kickstart a healthy lifestyle with expert tips from Melissa Yeager. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss it. Welcome to the O Show with Orlana Darkins Drury, your connection to events, topical interests, issues, and the movers and shakers in our world, and the opportunity to learn things that make you say, oh. Every year, the Consumer Electronics Show, known as CES, sets the stage for groundbreaking trends and products that shape how we live, work, and connect. Joining me today is award-winning tech expert and CES veteran Andrea Smith. Andrea is an award-winning news and tech journalist who continues to be a frequent guest expert on technology on ABC News and other national news outlets. Today, she's here with me to share the cutting-edge innovations that are set to steal the spotlight this year, from game-changing IA and robotics to the newest smart home devices and cleaning tech. I need those. Andrea, welcome to the O Show.
Thank you so much for having me. I got cleaning tech, I got smart stuff. I have everything for you from the CES show here.
I cannot wait. So as we just shared, you're live from the Consumer Electronics Show, and it's in Las Vegas, right?
Yes, we are in Las Vegas. I'm actually at the Las Vegas Convention Center right now as they're still putting the finishing touches on everything before the show officially opens.
Okay. So have you seen any surprising gadgets while they're setting up?
I've actually been walking around for about 2 days now. There's media days where I get to see a lot of the new stuff ahead of time, kind of sneak peeks for journalists. And yeah, so let me tell you, the trends here are robots and AI. They are everywhere. They are all over the show. And soon they're going to be all over your home. So let's start with the swimming pool. Are you ready for a robot in your swimming pool?
Okay.
The BeatBot AquaSense 2 Ultra is an AI-powered robotic floor cleaner. It is a 5-in-1 robot pool cleaner. the only robot cleaner with a multi-sensor combination of AI cameras and ultrasonic and infrared sensors. It learns the pool's layout and then it cleans from the surface down to the floor of the pool. This robotic pool cleaner is so cool. It even clarifies the water while it's cleaning the side. So you just get to sit back and relax and swim. And now to inside the home and keeping floors clean, which is a never ending battle, as we all know.
Right.
Robot mops like the Narwhal Flow are game changers. That's because they do the cleaning for you. Now, new this year, the Flow Wash mopping system, which extracts the dirty water as it cleans. So it's always using fresh water to mop. And the Deep Carpet Boost feature gets all that embedded dirt and hair out of the carpet floors. It even keeps the roller brush free of tangles. So this is just great for homes with people with long hair, kids running around, or like me, cats who get cat litter all over the place. It's got AI obstacle avoidance, so it knows to avoid things like socks and cables and not run them over and scoop them up. So it's really cool.
You know, the first device made me want to get a pool just so I can use it.
You just lie out in your chaise with a drink while the robot's
Exactly. That's the entertainment, not the pool itself, the robot in the pool. So as far as affordability or price, do you know the pricing of those two devices?
Yeah, so these are brand new. They're not even on the market yet. You're really getting the sneak peek of what is coming out. So sometimes these change and they do come out. Some of them come out Q2, the second quarter, the third quarter of the year. I do know that the robot pool cleaner is going to run about $3,400, and the Narwhal Flow is going to be, I think it's about $1,500, but that's like comparable to the other ones on the market. So don't quote me on that.
Okay, you know, I had a much higher price in my mind.
Oh, it's a bargain then.
That's all it is, $3,500. So any other trends that are dominating the event this year that you know of?
Well, I want to tell you about one cool thing, right? Because we've got these big stuff, but this really cool little innovations and gadgets sometimes just make me smile. So I'm already obsessed with my Bird Buddy, which is a bird feeder I put in my backyard, and it takes pictures of all the birds that come to my feeder, and I get to see them on my phone. Well, now under the Wonder brand, they've introduced Petal. It's an AI-powered nature camera that identifies and captures even more wildlife interactions. So it turns them into stunning snapshots and time-lapse videos. It can notify you in real time, so you can watch a bee pollinating a flower. You can watch a ladybug walking on a leaf or a butterfly landing. It is just so fun. It's like nature TV for me.
I love it. You know, so I know you're very busy and you have lots to see and do at the Consumer Electronics Show. But before you go, can you share a little information about your podcast called Parenting Bites? I love how you spell it.
It's such a play on words, right? Well, that's really about digital parenting, raising kids in the digital age. But also you can follow my coverage on techlicious.com, which is a mainstream tech website, like really for people trying to learn about, understand and learn more about technology and how to make smart buying choices. And so that's techlicious.com. So you can check that out as well.
I love all the cool names, Techlicious, Parenting Bites, BYTES. So I love it all. Andrea Smith, thank you so much for taking time to share with us live at the Consumer Electronics Show. I really appreciate you taking the time. Award-winning tech expert and Consumer Electronics Show veteran. Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all for tuning into the Ohh Show with Orlana. Until next time, keep shining. Welcome to the Ohh Show with Orlana Darkins Drury, your connection to events, topical interests, issues, and the movers and shakers in our world, and the opportunity to learn things that make you say, oh. New Year's resolutions can be daunting, but what if the secret to success was progress and not perfection? joining me today to share easy and sustainable tips to lose weight without completely overhauling your diet and routine is Head of Nutrition at MyFitnessPal, Melissa Yeager. Did I say your last name right?
You did. You got it correct. Thank you.
I started doubting myself. Melissa Yeager, welcome to the Ohh Show with Orlana.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you today this new year.
So let's dive right on in. What are some common mistakes people make when setting New Year's health resolutions, and how can we avoid them?
This is such a great question to kick off with. And as a registered dietitian, I've worked with clients one-on-one over the years. And what I oftentimes find is we have the best intentions in the new year, right? We have these grand ideas of big overarching goals that we're going to focus on, but sometimes we set them up a little unrealistically. And then when real life happens, so say we end up exceeding our calorie goal, or we end up not hitting that protein goal, it can be easy to slip back into that mindset of why should I even bother when I'm already off track for the day? And so this new year, I'm really encouraging everyone to step away from that idea of having to be perfect with everything that we're eating, and instead focusing on how we can make progress. And something else that I've noticed people tend to do is that they don't necessarily think about how am I going to measure progress towards this goal that I've set for myself. And that's where tracking your nutrition with MyFitnessPal can come into play to help you know where you stand so you can start to identify how you can make changes to support your overall goals.
So before we dive into MyFitnessPal more specifically, can you explain why adopting a progress over perfection mindset is a healthier approach?
Certainly, when it comes to thinking about progress over perfection, that concept of progress allows us to account for real life. Because just because you set a goal for yourself around your health this new year, it doesn't mean that real life is stopping. It doesn't mean that you won't get invited out to happy hours or have weddings or birthday parties that you need to attend. And so instead of feeling guilty about indulging on those days, you can instead focus on how you're making progress over time. And we actually know at MyFitnessPal that you don't have to be perfect to see results. In fact, according to our internal data, users who log just 4 days within their first week were actually 7 times more likely to make measurable progress towards their weight loss goals. How cool is that?
No, that's very cool. And before our conversation, I actually downloaded MyFitnessPal. One of the things I did like is that it does want you to share information about yourself so it can accurately calculate your goals. And I also like that it gave recommendations. So for me, I wrote I wanted to lose 5 pounds. And it said, well, how many pounds do you want to lose a week? But it gave a recommendation. And I thought, you know what, let me go with your recommendation. So how does MyFitnessPal support individuals in making intentional choices without feeling deprived or restricted? Because I did see there were lists, like why I fell off my diet or things like that. So explain like how it helps you make intentional choices without feeling like you're on a diet.
This is such a great question, and something that I find we all need to remind ourselves to think about as we start to make those small steps towards our goals. And with our database of over 20 million foods, you're going to be able to find what it is that you're looking for to track. And remember that unless you really know where you stand with your diet, it can be really hard to identify areas where maybe you could make improvements to reach those goals. So just by getting started with logging, that will help you to make more mindful choices so that you can account for those real life moments when, say, you're staying social, but you can still stay on track. So if you're headed out to eat, simply log it to see how that factors into your overall day, and then make small adjustments throughout the course of your day or tomorrow or the next day so that you can continue to stay on track and skip all of that guilt you may feel surrounding the choices that you're making in the moment.
And I love that you're saying small steps. Just for me, went to the doctor's recently and she's like, oh, wow, your blood pressure is no longer high. What did you do? And I was just like, oh, every day I increase my water, I increase my steps. And she was like, it was those small steps. So I think when people are having fitness goals, these New Year's resolutions, they try to take these giant leaps when it's really like the small steps that add up.
Well, first of all, congratulations. That is so exciting to hear. And you are 100% right. We really need to focus on how am I going to make progress today, tomorrow, and the next day. And remember that it's not one meal or snack or beverage that's going to make or break your progress towards that overarching goal. And I love that MyFitnessPal has a few features that can really help you identify your progress each day. For instance, with the progress bar at the top of the dashboard when you open your app, it actually factors in key nutrients that are going to support those goals that you set for yourself as you got started with the app. But if you want to look at a more week over week view or even over the course of the month, you can head into the More menu and actually check out the My Weekly Report feature and then toggle between weeks to see, hey, did I eat more fruits and vegetables this week than last week? How did I do on hitting my protein goal? And from there, you can really start to see how those small steps add up over time.
Before we go, can you share any tips for balancing indulgences while staying on track with your health goals?
I think it's so important to just take a step back and remember that you need to focus on not giving up everything that you really enjoy or like to indulge in, and instead simply account for those real life moments by logging them and moving forward. Because at the end of the day, January is just 1 month out of the year, and one meal, one snack, one beverage isn't going to make or break your goals. So instead, focus on your health and well being over the course of the year by using MyFitnessPal to help you make more mindful eating decisions as you progress towards those goals.
And how do we access MyFitnessPal?
I encourage you to head over to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download MyFitnessPal for free today.
Awesome. Melissa Yeager, head of nutrition at MyFitnessPal. Thank you so much for sharing these tips. I can't wait to start utilizing MyFitnessPal app on my phone.
Thank you so much for downloading MyFitnessPal. I can't wait to check in with you next time and hear how everything is going.
And thank you all for tuning in to the Ohh Show. This is Orlana, Dark and Jury. Keep shining.